GainRTrucking.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle, and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America, on air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome in a beautiful Wednesday here at Blur Parties. We're at the corner of 12th and Cass. We're still here at Blur for today, the next few hours. Really appreciate them, their hospitality, and for hosting us. Austin, Jay, and Strick with you for the next 2 hours here during On the Block. Brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Going in and out of grilling weather, in and out of tailgate weather. It's been sprinkling a little bit, but we have been dry as a bone here in the Blur tailgate tent. It is cool. It is wonderful weather inside. So if you're in the area, stop by and get tickets at the door. But we highly recommend you go to blurevents.com/Omaha. Get your tickets ahead of time. Makes things simpler for everyone. Lots to get to on today's show, including the Stanley Cup is over. What does it mean that America is dominating a Canadian sport? College basketball. Kansas's AD talked about rev sharing in basketball. What will that look like? And we're a week away from the NBA draft. 402-464-5685 if you got comments or questions. Let's turn it over to Mr. Hockey, Jay Foreman. You know a thing or two coming from Minnesota, right, growing up there. What does it mean that America is dominating Canada's sport? How personally is Canada taking it that they haven't won a cup since 93?
Yeah, I think the fans are taking it more personal than the players. I think hockey's an international sport now, and so you've seen it in the Olympics and stuff like that. And then that what that does is you lose a little bit of that rivalry between Canada and U.S. And now you saw a little bit when they had the World Cup earlier, where U.S. got Canada came back and won it. But now you're talking about franchises now, right? You got to think the Florida Panthers at one time was an expansion franchise, and you beat Edmonton, essentially a blue blood franchise. Obviously with the run with Wayne Gretzky and Messier and those guys, a lot has changed, and Edmonton has gotten close, and so they are not only playing for the great city of Edmonton, they're playing for the whole province and then the provinces and all the other franchises and the country of Canada. Now, what it means is that, the better hockey players are in the United States. That's all that means. It just in those franchises. But it is a long time. I think it's 42 years since you've had a Canadian franchise win.
Well, 32.
Or 32,
yeah.
Excuse me, 32. That's still a long time considering the players that they've had. Edmonton is kind of new back in this scene, right?
Yeah,
so
they were here for a while.
They're here for a while. Then they were really jettisoned or gone, right? And it's all ownership and all that. You got to think the pressure was on Toronto and how close they've gotten and teams that they've had. And so I think it's a talking point, but I think it's also, that Florida Panthers team is pretty dang good.
That they are. They've gone back to back. Congratulations to the Panthers on that. But we might be running into, Strike, a Charles Barkley situation. Clearly one of the best players in the NBA in his time, as is Connor McDavid for the Edmonton Oilers. He's got 9 straight seasons with at least 90 points. He's put up 100 in at least 5 of those, I think. But he hasn't won a Stanley Cup in any of them. What does that do for a player's reputation to get your team to the brink of the finals, to have a really good series like McDavid has had, but not get your team over the hump regardless of the sport?
I mean, there will always be some form of discussion in the conversation is whether or not he was not good enough, what they surrounded him with, was it enough? Did he need to get up out of there? They'll do it within those type of conversations. It can be frustrating, but then you also got to look at strong teams like Florida, and then also before them like Las Vegas, the runs that they were making. And then hopefully you can go and sit down and have conversations with your management and look at the roster construction. Is there people we can pull there? Or do we need to have discussions with our agent to go and plug and play into a good situation where we can hopefully have enough in the toolbox to get us through?
One of the things with Edmonton is that they had a lot of turnover on their roster. They lost a lot of scoring. because they thought they were going a little bit more defensive oriented, and obviously you had the ultimate equalizer in McDavid. I think the biggest thing is obviously what Strick says. The crazy thing about it is with the NBA, championships, that kind of elevates people and puts you in a different stratosphere. Well, then there's always the thing that in the NFL version, Dan Marino to me is
Mike Trout in baseball.
Right, Dan Marino to me is the greatest thrower of the football I've ever seen that I've played against. And that's generations. People tell you that. Even the guys that Peyton Manning and Tom Brady will tell you he wasn't able to win a championship. It's not on Dan Marino because he was a record-setting quarterback, and so it's also like when Connor McDavid went to the Edmonton Oilers. People will say, well, the draft or the ping pong balls were manipulated for him to go there. It's no different than Wemby, say 10 years from now, is leading the league and scoring 30 and all this, compared to where, Shea Alexander, they drafted and developed because they had assets to do it, right? And so he's in a catch-22. I also think, it's fresh losing. A lot when you get there, you're a lot closer than you are farther. Mm-hmm. I would probably say you might have to look at the style that you play when it comes playoff time, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it with Indiana. We've seen it in particular with Halliburton.
Yeah.
Even though McDavid is a physical and he scores and he does it right. Yeah, especially with them. We've seen it with Philly when Embiid and them want to play also. You see it all the time, and so I think they need to look at that versus
look. Are you saying look for what the build is? For what's there in the playoffs, not looking across, but what's there in the playoffs, and where were we deficient?
Yes,
and really have those.
Look at that. Right. Look at that first, right? Well, look to NBA Strick, right? The Phoenix Suns lost to Giannis and the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
So you lost, we are on the come up in the cusp. They went to try to go recreate Big Three instead of
traded their young
let the cornerstones go.
Yeah.
Well, those are the guys that were your engines that would when you had an ascending superstar. So you got to look at the styles and what really affected you in the playoffs. I can tell you this from a defensive standpoint. Florida to be up 3-0 in the second period in a winner go home game.
Woo.
That's not on
McDavid.
That's
right.
And then they changed goalies as well.
Yeah.
So it lets you know the defensive mindset or the schemes and how they run things need to really match up to their personnel better. And sometimes you have to change it year by year, playoff series by playoff series, and you got to have versatility because we see
versatility.
Right.
Yeah.
As we see with OKC, they can play anyway. They can just play man to man and not switch and hedge and do that. Or they can switch everything. They can go big. They can go small. They can do whatever you want.
So
you got to be able to do that, right? Because that's how Florida's beat them, right? Is physicality, timely plays,
line
changes, and then taking advantage of your rotations. That's more on the Edmonton Oilers, and not taking anything away from Florida. You got to look at yourself first, but it's hard to do when you have a lot of disappointment. Considering, Strick, this in the NBA, in the NFL as well, any sport. It's hard to get back after you lose a Super Bowl, NBA championship, right? And they've done it. So do you hold tight and stick to it? Because you got to think eventually
he's going to taper.
Eventually, Florida is going to. Their players are going to get plucked off.
Yeah. Right.
Their coaches are going to get plucked off. So you might want to hold force there and not panic too quick.
I completely agree. So answering some stuff from the text line here, Cubsker, wasn't Las Vegas an expansion team in their inaugural season when they made the run to the Stanley Cup? Yes. I mean, that just doesn't happen. That's unheard of. That's incredible team building, incredible chemistry, and it's still, pretty much unparalleled in modern sports. And then Gorilla Bear says, McDavid has won the playoff MVP while losing the Stanley Cup. His goalies have failed him. I think that goes to team building, right? It's a team sport. It's not just on one player. And I'm a hockey newbie. I don't know that much about it. But
they need Patrick Wall.
Tell him, Stricky. But hockey to me feels more basketball-ish, where one player should be able to have an outsized impact on the game. Where I'm not pinning this on McDavid. I mean, he lives 2 years in the finals. It's an everyone issue. And he was good. He was fine. He was solid. There's no issues with him. But it just leads you to wonder: is there another level for him, or can he go get another wingman alongside, Draisaitl, whatever, Leon, whoever that is, right?
They got other weapons. I think when you're thinking about back to Cubscore, I think when you're talking about the Vegas and the expansion franchise, what is the first thing they did? They got Fleury, goaltender.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking about this more of like baseball, think of more of it like baseball. You have a goalie. Everything now that's
basically like pitching who's ERA.
That's the Mariano Rivera. Doesn't matter what you're doing. I'm knocking it out. That's the difference.
Get me a lead, you're good.
And then also you'll keep the game tight.
Yeah.
Then it'll allow McDavid to be the ultimate X factor. If you're leaky with your defense and your goalie, you're especially in the playoffs. That's where I think they can upgrade. And it's hard to develop goalies. It's hard they are just essentially like closers and quarterbacks. You're just in pass rushers. It's just you're unicorns.
It cracks me up though with goalies how much you talk about riding the hot hand with a goal. Like you don't think about that. You're just sitting there. Either you stop the shot or you don't. When I think about a hot hand, I think about a guy who's on like a 10-game hit streak in baseball. Think about a guy that has hit 4 threes already in the first half. I don't think about a goalie having a hot hand. Either you're in the way or you're not. But we've seen year after year, some of these goalies are just head cases. They get there, the moment's too big for them, and everything goes out the window.
Well, you start to overthink. It's kind of like in the World Cup for soccer. Guys have made millions and millions of dollars of getting hot and getting in the run, and they can time up on the free kicks. And that's how you become legendary. Yeah. And that same thing with goalie. You got to think, he just mentioned Patrick Waugh, right?
Yeah.
Then I talked about Fleury. The goaltenders, you think about Mark Richter back in the day and all these guys that were in Martin Brodeur, I'm really like aging myself. We talk about goalies. Those are the guys where, yes, you had other guys in defense, Scott Stevens, but those guys, as far as the goalies, those are the guys who really won everything for you. They had
it's those little glove saves and those kick saves and just making it so tough that it veers off. And,
it takes your confidence.
Yeah,
and then also a crazy save where, they dive and they throw a stick at it. That excites your line changes, your second and your third line, and then they end up scoring. When I was in Buffalo, there was a goalie, and he was the best in the league at that time. His name was Dominic Hasek.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so, Buffalo was, Sabres were good. They had Michael Pekka and some guys like that. And he was a little old dude. And okay, that's fine. I met, Ty Domi and those guys. So I'm thinking Dominic Hasek is, a big goalie, right? A big dude. When I'm telling you, Austin, he looked like the dude that getting your library card. but you could just tell he had an edge to him. He had a quiet confidence about himself, and he knew how good he was. He just had that aura about it. In Buffalo at that time, wasn't very talented, but they were more of a defensive team, keep it close until they could get more explosive on offense. And they went through some times where they weren't able to reach the heights that they want. So I think it really starts with the goalie, and then everything forms out of that. Whereas Edmonton built their team, McDavid, and he took the league by storm because he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
And then now they're slowly but surely trying to, build a team around him, and they're struggling because Florida, their best player, was a Tkachuk. Tkachuk is both good as an offensive player, and then also is very good as a two-way player as well.
Two things to get to before we go to break. Number one, from Bill and Bennett on our text line. I would argue Jim Kelly over Dan Marino and the player that threw the best football.
I'm gonna tell you, Jim Kelly had a tight spiral, big quarterback, both of them I like that. But I saw Dan Marino personally, and I'm a little bit biased. I know both of them, and Jim Kelly went to Miami, so I know him through my dad. I had a really, life-changing experience with Dan Marino when he was at the apex of his career. And then I met him again when we played in the Orange Bowl. And then I saw him on that Sunday night, and he got in the zone. And it's hard for me to forget it. It was so long ago. You think from 1999, that's how many years? 20, 25, 20, 26 years. I ain't never forgot it. But Jim Kelly, when Jim Kelly was humming, when those are big, strong quarterbacks, man, that just.
That's crazy. I'm going to see Andre this week for his golf tournament.
Right. That's right. And back then you had to throw in elements though.
Right.
There was no no domes. No retractable domes.
Right.
Nope.
And different conditions, and then you had to fit it into tight areas and stuff. So yeah, I like that one.
Okay, last thing then. Last night after the win, Matthew Tkachuk said, we got to be a dynasty now. Someone on Twitter says, nope, the rule for a dynasty is 3 championships in 5 years. Stricky, we'll start with you. Do you agree? Is a dynasty 2 championships, 3 championships, or how do you define a dynasty?
Yeah, I think if you and I like 3 and 5.
Okay.
That's domination.
I like 3 and 5.
Yeah.
Well, and so that's going to change now. You got to think about that, right?
Oh, for sure.
That's going to change. It's got to be extended. It might be 3 and 6 or 7 now because.
Is it different in pros and college?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think college dynasty is not necessarily always predicated on
championships.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think
Just in the mix,
always.
right?
Yeah,
Especially basketball.
Yeah.
And Strick, I wanted to ask you, do you think it changes the sport to sport? Because
I
a dynasty for basketball
I
is
do.
different than football.
Facts.
And then it changed because the Bulls were a dynasty. Heck, the Rockets were. And back in the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now it changes because of free agency and how they go about it. And same like
and
with
these
the Patriots. The Patriots went on a 20-year run.
And they did get 3 and 5.
Yeah,
Just
they've
barely.
done
The Spurs
everything.
barely
They've
did.
hit every
Yeah.
matrix or metrics. But I think now it's in small little spurts. And then if you can do it, then I think it's sport by sport. Baseball,
Yeah, you're not winning 3 and 5 in Major
Right.
League Baseball.
Right. Is it one, it might get to a point that
Like the Braves only won 1 World Series in that run through the 90s.
And they
Are
were
a dynasty? Does that count?
I think they are, man.
What about like the Dodgers now?
Would that
They're
ever
getting
happen
close, yeah.
again?
You know?
Yeah, or it's
Yankees, obviously.
and I think it's all
Back in the
relative
day,
to your like when the Twins, when they had the Homer Hankies with Kirby Puckett, that's a dynasty. That was a short run, right? They had 2 World Series championships.
Yeah.
And then they were followed up by my man Tom Kelly. They'd win the Central and then go out there and get swept by the Yankees every year. Be a home real quick.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the sport, and I think it depends on the time and also your franchise, because a dynasty for one franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Pittsburgh Pirates, say they make the playoffs twice. They're like, well, we're great.
We made it.
Right.
We're back.
Yeah. So it just kind of depends.
Okay.
Austin, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think that there will ever be a rotation like the Atlanta Braves when they had Smoltz, Glavine, and who else was it?
Maddox. Yeah.
You think?
Do
you think that can ever happen again?
I mean, what those 3 guys did, it's not just generational.
Yeah.
That's all-time legendary stuff. But between the 3 of them, where they were all so good together in Atlanta, and then they all went other places and still had success after that run kind of broke up. No, I don't think that's ever happening again. Certainly not to that level. Okay, I lied. One more thing. Fricky and Lincoln says, I'm 52. Jay said we played Dan Marino in the Orange Bowl. When? Not to my knowledge. No, Jay,
No.
You did not say we played Dan Marino in the Orange Bowl.
I
You
met
said
him.
you saw
I
Dan
met him.
Marino at the
Yeah,
Orange Bowl.
I hooked up with him down when we played in the Orange Bowl in 1994. But I met him as I was a teenager, and then I played against him when I was a rookie in Buffalo, and saw him in
Up in New York or down
in Miami. It was a Sunday night. It was hot as Hades, and Dan Marino came, and that was right after he came off a huge, knee injury and stuff, and he was in the zone.
All right, couple more texts to get to. We'll do that when we get back. We're down here at Blur, corner of 12th and Castrick. Jay Austin, it's on the block, brought to you by the Mercado.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
You're looking for a forecast for today. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, partly sunny skies with an afternoon high near 82. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds. low around 62. And tomorrow, lots of sunshine with a light breeze. It'll be hot with an afternoon high near 93. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service. But it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free. So visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Country music star Rodney Atkins will be performing at the Icebox on Friday, June 20th. Tickets start at $30 and doors open at 7 p.m. The capacity is only 3,000, so don't wait. Buy your tickets at LincolnStars.com today before it sells out.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still, though, have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, 14,000 off list, or starting at 37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. 14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at 37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G2893558.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jade Foreman, and Austin Orman.
We're rolling right along here into segment 2 of On the Block, live from Blur Events. Austin, Jay, and Strick are with you. Fellas, before we get into a little college basketball and some NBA moving forward here, Gus Mohawk says, who is your Mount Rushmore for toughest/meanest Huskers of all time? Jay, we'll do you in the football realm, toughest or meanest Huskers. And Stricky, Nebraska basketball, tough or mean
players for Nebraska men's basketball. What we
Like
think
now?
of all
Present or
time,
of
Mount
all?
Rushmore, toughest, meanest Husker basketball players.
I think Bernard Day was one.
Okay.
He was just he was undersized. He'll rise to the occasion on you. He'll battle. I you know what? It's between him and Bruce Chubbuck.
They can both be on your Mount Rushmore.
As far as the toughest.
Yep.
I like them.
Okay.
Yeah, those two. Bruce Chubbuck was definitely on that list for me as well. You know, somebody at 6'8" to be your starting center and have to face the likes of and battle of Big Country in his prime and you know guys like Byron Houston, who was like super cock diesel, Gary Trent, you know, who's literally able to battle these guys. So, you know, obviously I don't want to put myself in that category, but I think I was a tough one. You know, I was willing to, you know, battle whoever was called upon. Size didn't matter. So, yeah, man, that's what I would say.
You got football, Jay?
I mean, you
gotta say Peters.
Yeah, I would say the Peter brothers. You know, some of those guys are legendary that, you know, that were before him, but I'd say the Peter brothers.
Sandman.
Yeah, Broderick Thomas for sure.
Neil.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I know Broderick just because I know. I mean,
You know what I'm saying.
yeah. Then I'd probably,
saying.
and then like a Toby Wright for sure.
Oh, I love Toby Wright.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, back then, you know, toughness had, you know, that was non-negotiable. So when I talk about those guys were, you know, extraordinary. Then you got, you know, like Rockhead. You know, I'm gonna tell you one of the dudes, the toughest dude.
Sexy Rexy.
Is like Lawrence Phillips. You
know?
And I'm
yes, Lord.
And here's why: is like I remember being a red shirt, and they were going to play Oklahoma, and I think Tommy was having, you know, some health issues, and I think Matt Turman was supposed to play, and Brooke I think maybe had a collapsed lung or something like that, and Lawrence had like broke a bone in his hand, and we were in practice. You know, Oklahoma week.
He had a
pad. So, you know, being a red shirt, he comes through there and, you know, you kind of just tag him off, get out of the way, man. And he grabbed us and grabbed me, and he was like, I want you to hit my hand. I want to feel that pain right now. And that was so he know what to expect in the game. And that's like the toughness that you have and you had to play with in order to be, you know, successful. So those guys are definitely on Mount Rushmore.
I'm gonna tell you about one story, an NBA story. And I got to talk about the great late Kobe Bryant. And when he tore his Achilles, you just look at what happened to a lot of the guys that just recently tore theirs. He gets up. He said same thing I said when I tore mine. Man, who kicked me? A lot of people say that. That's a lot of the story. But he goes, he kind of walks it off, gets no grimace, no pain, just kind of just rubbed on it a little bit. You know, he knew something was off. Steps to the free throw line, hits the free throw, and doesn't get helped off, walks off himself.
Yeah.
Clay did that 2019. Yeah.
I mean, that's tough.
Rare.
Yeah.
That's toughness.
Yeah. I mean, guys that are able to, I mean, you think about, I was watching this thing, I think it was on social media about Lawrence Taylor and he's I think he's the greatest football player of all time because he changed the game and changed positions, and he was that dude. His signature game, according to Bill Parcells, is when they played Sunday night down in New Orleans with a separated shoulder, and that's when they had the old harness on it. I think it was a Sully, which was created here in Nebraska by George Sullivan and Doug Ostergaard. They put it on him, and then he had like 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and like 8 tackles with a separated shoulder. You think about the time that Emmitt Smith played with a separated shoulder, and he had to answer the bell because Dallas Cowboys needed to win so they could get that extra week off, which then allowed them to get another Super Bowl. Those things are like when you have to rise to the occasion. You have to play you can't play injured, right? Yeah. But there is an art, there is a toughness, there is a mental place that you have to go in order to play hurt, and also play effectively hurt. and some people can do it. Some people are willing to do it. Some people aren't, and that's not in every. And I would say this: when you play football, everybody's tough.
Yeah.
Now I think there's some guys that are tougher than others, and I think the difference is in when you the mental toughness versus the physical toughness.
Ray Lewis is one of those.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Mike Singletary.
All of them. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Ronnie Lott chopped his fingers out.
You can. That's another one. You know, to get your pinky chopped off and get in the game.
Yeah.
The willingness to win, and you talk about guys like a Willis Reed for NBA and those type of guys that are able to go to the locker room and lay it on the line in every sport. That's what I was talking about yesterday when we talked about the difference in that the willingness and the want to win is significantly different in the areas. And I don't care what anybody says. It's just that's just who you are, what you're willing to do, what you're willing to sacrifice for the betterment of the team. And I think it was probably more allowed back then. Yeah. And it makes you legendary, right? Or helps you become legendary. Or it's even the toughness of like Pete Rose that just passed away, that he doesn't miss a game. Mm-hmm. And Charlie Hustle. Yep. That's toughness. Because I can guarantee you, when he running them bases, AC Green. Well, he's got intestinal fortitude.
Right. What about my guy that I keep talking about?
LeBron James. You're right.
Over with Baltimore.
Cal Ripken.
Iron
Horse.
Yeah. I mean,
you think about all them games, like you said.
The toughness to show up every single day and put it out there and play, and definitely with Cal Ripken, it wasn't a charity case. I mean, or you think about toughness. I'm gonna tell you, one of the toughest dudes out there, and because we watching baseball, Robin Ventura, my brother. You should have known better than charge Nolan Ryan.
Yeah,
College World Series legend Robin Ventura.
I mean, he put you in the old school headlock, and then he was hitting you with his pitching hand. Right. That's the best part. Yeah. The same hand that they said he didn't really train. He just put it in like a 20-pound thing of rice and trained it. Yeah. And if you see Nolan Ryan, who's around sometimes, he just an old dude you ain't gonna run up on. Mm-hmm. He's a dude that get like your fender bender, jump out, and you try to jump back. He drops, you get back in the car, go home, right back to his ranch.
And don't say nothing. Don't stand over. You just come and get in the car.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's really funny to see the tough people that you know are tough go up against someone that's fake tough, that talks a big game.
Yeah,
and then they get against one of those big dogs and they just melt.
Pause. Is Draymond tough, or is he?
I think he's tough. Yeah. I think he's tough. I think Draymond goes a little bit farther with it, but I think Draymond's at the point now. His skills have diminished, so now he's doing the antics is getting there, and because of the skill. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Draymond tough for real.
Dylan Brooks.
He fake tough.
I knew you was gonna say it.
He fake tough.
I knew you.
He plays tough. He's fake tough.
Yeah. I figured you was going
Pat Bev.
I think he's tough. I think he's more antic-y than anything. Same with Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul is teeter-totter the line of dirty.
Bro,
plays dirty.
If Rondo would have spit on me, it would have been look. It wouldn't have been able to get me off.
I'm gonna tell you the dude that got the best quick jab of all time.
Chris Childs.
He said, Kobe Bryant, I don't care who you are. You walk up on me the quick jab, but the quick jab to create the space, and then he was bobbing and weaving. With him.
Spree, real tough or fake tough?
Spree's tough.
Yeah.
I got to know Spree. Spree talks soft, but he's Milwaukee tough. He's tough.
What about KG?
KG, I think, is fake.
Yeah.
I think KG's fake, but I know Meta's not. Meta World Peace is not. I'm gonna tell you,
it's not tough.
He's
real. He's real. Okay, yeah. I thought so.
He's real. I like playing with him, and worried if somebody had to get into it, because you saw what he did to the Beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, he hit him with the Dusty Rhodes bionic elbow. He hit him with the Dusty Rhodes bionic elbow, and didn't think nothing of it.
It just kept running like
yeah.
It was part of the thing. Yeah, it's crazy.
Ain't nobody like James
now,
Johnson.
I'm gonna tell you somebody that's tough, that doesn't really need to talk about it, but he will hem you up, but he'll look like he's doing it cool and calm and collected. Steven Adams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Steven Adams.
Big Kiwi.
He got that grown man.
Got paid.
Yeah.
Congrats, Steven Adams. Got paid.
Good for him.
It's good for him, a centerpiece and a toughness and the leadership that they need down there that's appreciated late in his career too. And the longevity for him.
Right.
And to go to different situations to do well.
Where did Steven Adams go to college?
Santa Clara Gonzaga?
Pitt.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
I would have never thought about that. I would have never thought that.
I know.
Never.
Never. He
Just because
He just don't
back,
look like he'll pee.
he looked like Gonzaga or St. Francis or something. Yeah.
West Coast.
Yeah.
Shorter flight home. So, no, I think that's interesting. Let's go ahead and take a break here. We'll keep talking some hoops as we move on. NBA draft, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander could win the trifecta of NBA MVP, potentially finals MVP and the championship if the Thunder can close it out. What kind of company would he join? But in our next segment, we got about 10 minutes. What percentage of the budget will teams be spending on their college basketball programs? Kansas's AD Travis Goff had some interesting comments on that. That's how we'll wrap up hour one of On the Block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
In dealing with the high interest rates, it's very important that you get as much bang for the buck. And that's what our Remington Homes is all about.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
People really enjoy being able to go to our website, which is remingtonlincoln.com, pick a plan, pick a price point, go through and build it yourself. You have a lot of options, whether you want granite, whether you want painted trim or other upgrades. Those are all options with our Remington Homes. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Early break.
So you're getting coffeed up at the mill?
Yeah, so I walk over to people.
Would you be willing to come on every day? Is there something that you'd be able to do?
You know, actually, I got a lot of things to say. You know,
if you please every Friday, at least before a game, Coach, we'd love to have you. It'd be a riot.
With Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Bill Bush from 6 to 9 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
We're here wrapping up hour one of On the Block. It's Blair, Austin, Jay, and Strick with you. Talking some hoops moving forward. Appreciate the good conversation on toughness we just had. And a little hockey talk as well. Enjoy it. You won't get any till the Stanley Cup Finals next year. So if you're a hockey head, you're welcome. We did it for you. Fellas, I saw this from the Kansas City Star talking to Travis Goff. He's the athletic director down at Kansas. Here's a quote from Travis Goff. He says, "I'm pretty confident we're going to be in the top 10% of men's basketball allocation out of the gate. I think that number could be in the 4.5 to 5 million range if you're at the top. I don't know that, but that's just what I think." Now, obviously, this is a blue blood program in Kansas. Hinges a lot of success on the success of the men's basketball program. But, Strick, if you hear that Kansas thinks the top college basketball programs are going to be between $4.5 and $5.5 million a year just from rev sharing, where do you think Nebraska needs to be, and where do you think Nebraska will be in terms of distributing rev share money to men's basketball?
I think Nebraska needs to be in the 3 to 3.5 range. I think they'll probably get close to 3. I don't think they'll get there. I think they'll be around 2.5. Between 2.5 and 3. And I think that's going to be a test run. Obviously, they've done what they needed to do this year. We'll see what they're chasing in the next upcoming year.
Right.
That's going to tell you a lot as to what is allocated and what they, where they're going to sit. But, it's pretty much set in stone now.
Jay, before you go, Strick, do you think it's going to be easier or more difficult for Nebraska to get players to campus when it's a rev share game versus an NIL game, right? Because it seems like that's been what's holding Nebraska back just to some degree, right? Is that they don't have the NIL money to compete with your Purdue's, your Michigan State's just in the conference. I know NIL will still be around, but do you think things will get any simpler or more straightforward where Nebraska can be more competitive in recruiting in a rev share world, or will the same problems still be the same problems?
They're going to have, in order to go and have the conversations, to be in the room with the big dogs, you got to step in there and show and prove. Here's what I mean. If you are as a boxer or an MMA fighter, you get the call. You always stay ready. You always stay in shape. Somebody falls out, misses weight, does something, but you get that call. You got to step in there with the big dog and pull a Rocky against Apollo Creed. You may not win, but you
got to fight.
You prove that you. Nebraska's going to have to prove. They raised their level when they were third in the conference and got to the NCAA tournament. Then tapered off. You don't even make. Showed some resilience. Now, can you back it up? That's what Nebraska's got to show, is that backup. Can you back it up? Can you make the putt to win one tournament and you're sitting there for another one with a similar distance? Can you make it again?
Validate, right?
Can you validate? That's what they say in golf.
Yeah, you got to validate a birdie.
Validate the birdie.
I think the first year, I think Nebraska's going to be maybe half of that. I think in the rev share, and try
Half
to really
of the four
4.5. I think they're like 2.5, 2.5, and I think it could work in Nebraska's favor if their collectives, pitch in a little bit more, because then that's where you can really be the ultimate equalizer. I think, and here's why I'm saying it. If Nebraska starts to beat and be a higher success rate with mid-level guys and don't lose those 50-50, against other, teams in basketball programs.
Yeah.
Then you can increase your revenue share, because then you'll win more, right? Then they'll be like, okay, we'll give you more. And then ideally your collective will go up as well. So then you're kind of inching your way up. Say you're tier 3 right now. Okay, let's dominate tier 3 recruiting wise. And then we'll get up to tier 2, and then that's going to be the big jump of going from tier 2 to tier 1. And the revenue share is, if you start out a little bit more light in it, half, the collective steps up, but then you got to really dominate in the revenue share area with the mid-level guys, because everything that comes with Nebraska should be your fourth leg, the ultimate equalizer, because we're even on the revenue share with the mid-level possibilities of where the kids are going.
I do think it's going to be interesting to monitor too, because what it sounds like is that men's basketball will get its cut. It probably won't be huge. Obviously, volleyball is going to step in and take some of that money as well, which is certainly deserved, right? Don't get me wrong, but I do wonder if Nebraska has an opportunity here to go all in on Fred Hoiberg and say, you know what, Fred, these last 3 years have been, the best that you've had. Not elite, not upper level necessarily, but you have shown improvement. You have gotten things, headed in the right direction. And maybe Nebraska, doesn't deserve that full $5.5 million yet. And maybe they never will. But I do think it would be a big vote of confidence if Troy Danon were to maybe, infuse a little bit of that cash up front instead of the show and prove model, where maybe 2.5 is fair for performance right now. But if you trust Fred Hoiberg, you like what he's doing, you think he has the blueprint, maybe that's where you say, well, sorry, sports that are down the roster, we're taking a little bit from you because we believe in this guy and because we believe that this program can bring back more money for us in the future. Do they do that? I doubt it. But I wouldn't be mad if Nebraska was, starting at 3 or up to 3.5 with a little bit of upfront.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I mean, I think it put a lot more pressure on everybody else to perform recruiting-wise, development-wise. But then also I think, it kind of coincides with, the collectives or where you have grandfather contracts with your football team, because you could probably slide a little bit more there with the knowledge that the guys are already grandfathered in for a couple of years. So the revenue share to get you started is there on the front end, and then you can actually do a reverse and taper off a little bit because you think the collective would go there. So I like it. I think they're in that gray area where you go. I guess since we could do the analogy of golf, to go from a low double digit handicap to a 5 or 6. That's the hardest jump.
Yeah.
And so to do that, you're going to have to maybe invest in something up front with a little bit of a couple missed putts, but long term it'll be better for you.
The last piece of this conversation, and again, this is just a guess from Travis Goff, the athletic director at Kansas. He went on to say, you can basically lock in, let's say, from $3.5 million on the lowest for men's basketball to upwards of $5 million. Maybe some are stretching into the $5s. If Nebraska is less than the lowest, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
It's a problem. Even if you're not going to be the highest, you got to be in that mid-tier. Like you guys were saying, you cannot afford, if you're Nebraska men's basketball, to have the lowest resources, right? $3.5 million seems like a lot of money for this program right now, but if Travis Goff is right and $3.5 million is the lowest, Nebraska's got to be at $4 million. You got to start spending money to catch up at some point. And I wouldn't want to see that Nebraska is still on the lowest end. They can be lower middle, but be closer to the middle than the low.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I like the premise on what you're stating. It's a valid one. It's plausible. It's something that you would hope that is in the consideration and the thought of it all. It's unfortunate that I just look at their past.
Right. But you got to break the cycle, right?
Look. I look at their past and I look at football in a similar light. I think they're doing better, but I still think that even up until now, I still think they could have did more. And and again, I come to the conclusion: are you tired of brand complacency? When are you going to get tired of being sick and tired of it? Yeah, you're going to have to eventually step forward. And we've seen that some teams that did it right, if you trust Coach Hoiberg and his staff in evaluations and going and finding it, you saw what Texas Tech has done, both on softball as well as by getting Toppin. I think
football went all in again.
That story, with Toppin of how, they used our platform, Cerebral Sports, in order to justify with their collective in order to make that extra pay.
Yeah.
If you trust them to make the right decisions, you got to put it in their hands and let them go ahead and distribute it the right way.
I think that's completely fair. Let's go ahead and go to break right here. When we get back, we'll keep talking some hoops. 1 week from tonight, Cooper Flagg is going number 1 overall in the NBA draft. Who's going number 2? We'll talk about Big Ten players, right? Plenty more we'll get to about the draft as we move through the week. But Strick and I got a chance to see a lot of these Big Ten guys in person. Who did we like? Who did we not like? We will get into that. A lot of top-end talent here in the lottery from the Big Ten as well. Did the conference get the most out of those young players? We'll discuss that and plenty more as we move through On the Block.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes tickets to Michigan or USC, plus Akron or Houston Christian, and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit Huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
You're looking for a cast for today. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, partly sunny skies with an afternoon high near 82. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds. Low around 62. And tomorrow, lots of sunshine with a light breeze. It'll be hot with an afternoon high near 93. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
RC's Boxing presents this Saturday at the Complex amateur fights with a little bare-knuckle bite. Some of Nebraska's best amateur boxing, along with a professional bare-knuckle bout between Jack Lawless Frericks and Jake Palmer, and a kickboxing bout between Demorio Dennis and Eric Murray Jr. Go get your tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com, where you can live stream this event as well. Doors open at 6 p.m. and first bout is at 7 p.m. this Saturday at the Complex at 1555 Yolanda Avenue. Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
In dealing with the high interest rates, it's very important that you get as much bang for the buck. And that's what our Remington Homes is all about.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
People really enjoy being able to go to our website, which is remingtonlincoln.com, pick a plan, pick a price point, go through and build it yourself. You have a lot of options, whether you want granite, whether you want painted trim or other upgrades. Those are all options with our Remington Homes. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
What up, back?
Welcome to it. Hour 2 of On the Block, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Special ingredient butcher shop. Every type of meat, every type of cut. 3 Lincoln locations and 1 in Omaha. Austin, Jay Strick with you here. Fellas, some kind of breaking news out of the NBA as we turn our attention there. The Los Angeles Lakers are being sold from the Buss family to a group kind of headlined in Los Angeles. It's done a lot, led by Mark Walter, of course, probably best known for being the principal owner right now of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Stricky, your reaction to the Los Angeles Lakers changing hands, but Jeannie Buss retaining her spot as governor despite not holding a majority stake?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing there. I guess when you have to look back and check the track record and see whether or not you believe that they were doing it right. I think in some ways you don't want to usurp everything and have just this crazy turnover at that level. So it could be a phase out. It could be, let's monitor it and see how it goes. You probably are still trying to build the championship team that you think you built. Obviously, she has rapport with a lot of the guys that are there.
Yeah.
You want to still maintain that confidence. It's always tough. Think about it like even as listeners, think about what it's like, the anxiety, the feeling, the wonder of when the new staff, and Jay, you'll be able to speak on the football, when a new ownership, a new coach, a new GM comes in. And I saw it in Dallas when there was a change of the GM. Next thing you know, Jason Kidd's gone, Jimmy Jackson's gone, Jamal Mash, and you, in your mind's eye, you're thinking that's your core group. We about to make a run with this. That's one of the original type of young victories before OKC again. So I think they want to maintain a level of stability, and this is probably why they decided to do this. Shout out to her. If you go back and track the history and the record of it, what they built, where they started, what they invested to what they built as an organization is truly dynamic.
So Jerry Buss bought the Lakers. This is from Sham Charania. Jerry Buss bought the Lakers in '79 for $67.5 million. That's a pretty steep price to pay
back then.
But back then, I mean, even now, I mean, I don't have $67.5 million laying around. So if it's going to appear someday, that'd be fantastic. But think about this: the Boston Celtics just sold for $6.1 billion. Big market, a lot of history. That's not LA.
Yeah.
Do we think the Lakers get to 7-5?
Oh,
Are they worth 8? Do we push it to 10 for the Lakers maybe in this day and age?
I don't know if 10 is probably a little bit steep, but definitely 7-5, 8 at the maximum. And, sometimes when you have ownership change, it's different. It depends on how the previous ownership operated. If you think of Sterling and maybe like Daniel Snyder, that's a lot different than, say, when Michael Jordan sold, the Charlotte Hornets to the hedge funds guys and stuff like that. That was kind of a different deal that he had to, and they kind of forced his hand, supposedly. In this case, I think, Jeannie Buss is taking it over after her dad, obviously, really, really, pulled some strings and went down to the 23rd or 24th hour to actually complete the sale way back in the day. And then obviously he passed away, and she, continued on with the, the Laker aura and the success. And she's getting a little bit older. She probably doesn't want to own it, but she definitely wants to make sure that she knows the Laker way. So that's why she's staying on.
Yeah.
And I think also it might make her a better, I guess, governor per se, without the ownership piece. That means she can probably maybe focus on what she does best, which is that, the governor position.
Administration
and the Laker way, the experience. Get the experience back, right? And they probably feel they have a good coach in J.J. Redick, but I'm going to tell you one guy that's on the hot seat. Rob Pelinka.
Hey.
And he's on and because the Laker, part of the iconic players in Laker history is the Magic Man. And his departure, the way he left, and still having that relationship with Jeannie Buss, but he doesn't have a relationship with Rob Pelinka, and then he owns part of the Dodgers, which then therefore is probably going to be advisor to the new owner, Mr. Walter, that's taking over the Lakers. You gone, brother. You gone. And so, but I think also it could be a good thing because to get
did the Luka situation save him a little bit?
No.
You don't think so? The way he was able to pull that off,
Magic too petty,
and fleece Dallas.
No, this is personal. I guarantee you, Magic can go back and look at other deals that you've done that really nullifies the good of that deal. Plus, when you're thinking about getting back, if you're going to keep the Laker way and getting back to prominence, both in perception and in reality, you got to get a guy in there that fits LA. You got to think.
You got to go get the next Pat Riley.
Yes, GM was.
Yeah.
Pelinka essentially was Kobe's homeboy / agent.
Got the homeboy hookup.
Got the homeboy hookup when Kobe retired, and so Kobe's obviously passed away, unfortunately. So I think this is a good shift in ownership. The guy Walter knows LA, so it's not somebody coming from Boston or the East Coast trying to come to LA and doesn't know the culture. He has Magic Johnson right there on speed dial, plus other guys, and he knows it's like the Lakers are kind of like Nebraska. A lot of the iconic players are going to be around. You got to keep them involved, or it won't work.
Would it be somebody that's pretty close to Magic, not necessarily him himself, like Byron Scott or somebody like that?
Wasn't Byron Lakers coach for a while?
Yeah, yeah. They're going to have to get somebody like a Myers with that type of mindset with Golden State that understands the Laker way, like new age, knows how to identify talent, will hire a coach or keep JJ Redick, because JJ Redick will push him to be toughness and make sure that it's consistently being pushed every year, championship, not just by the players, right, but by the coaches, by the GM. Everybody's having to have that championship mentality, and that's what they're going to try to bring in. And it's not saying that
Calvin Booth is looking for a job.
Shoot.
Hey, man, I know Magic Man ain't trusting him. Magic Man ain't trusting him, man.
Heck no.
Heck no. It'd be interesting to see what they do. It'd be interesting to see.
Could they poach Connolly from Minnesota?
You could, but how does this affect LeBron?
Yeah.
Do you care?
At this point.
If I'm taking over the Lakers, you dang right I do. He's one of the top.
He's around for 1 year.
It could be 2, but
and?
I want butts in the stands. LeBron, okay.
You're gonna have butts in the stands. They're the Lakers.
Well, just turn
I'm
it over to
I'm not saying bump LeBron. I'm saying
turn it over to Bronny.
He's a secondary focus.
And let's keep it moving. You got the name, you got the brand, and now we
see. This is the thing. When you have Magic there, you're going to understand that old school mentality of what you talked about when the new ownership came or new GM came and you cut all your good players. That ain't going to work.
No,
because the tickets are too much, and people. Then it's not okay. You might have people there, but the experience is going to be horrible. Trust me. I grew up watching. I grew up watching the Timberwolves when in the Metrodome when nobody would be there, and then it was hollow.
Kirby.
You could see everybody over there. And I could say, Strick, what's happening in the basketball game going on? Here's the thing. You cannot do that. Now, do you need LeBron for 5 or 6 more years? No, you need him as the transition because
you got Luka there. Bruh, he's young.
Yeah, you can keep Luka there.
He's an all-NBA player. You really don't even remember him being there. You was really talking as if Luka wasn't there. You still thought Luka was in Dallas.
I know he's there, but I ain't seen nothing to be like you a Laker.
No doubt.
Because when you still talking, when the head coach is talking about you got to get in championship shape, and you the dude to running the team, he talking about you.
So that tells you something as to why Dallas. So
right.
It's a carryover there.
Right.
Yeah.
And then here come the Magic Man too. That's the point guard extraordinaire. So I'm thinking about LeBron because LeBron.
I think that's why he took the team, Jay. I think that's why. I bet you. Here's my thought. Ooh, you ready for my?
Let me hear this.
I think Magic Man was sitting down like you and I. Let me tell you something. Just go in here, get this Laker team. Got Luka. I'm gonna get him right.
I can see that.
And they talked it up. I bet he talked it up to him. He pulled the trigger because he got long paper. And there's how it all came down. Magic Man is gonna go in there and get Luka right.
He's gonna get some ownership.
Hey.
Jerry Buss always wanted him to be paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if Magic get in there and get 25% ownership.
That'd be kind of crazy. It makes sense, but
He owns some of the Commanders, and he owns and some of the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Look, he's made great.
Was Magic a
investments
part of
on the
that group that went up to the Sixers then too?
No, I don't think
Because it's the same guy with the Commanders and the Sixers, Josh Harris.
I imagine he might have been in the background. Whatever Magic been touching has been turning to gold.
Boy,
purple and gold.
Minus touch.
Let's think about this though. Let's say Rob Pelinka does get fired. Does he get another NBA GM job? Would he want one? Or is he just chilling in LA? It's a great gig for him. Got the homeboy hookup from Kobe. Would some team look at what he said?
My boy.
But that's what I'm saying. Would other teams look at Rob Pelinka's track record and say, yeah, that's a legit GM. He grew into the role. He earned it. We could use him. Or would other teams say, no, Lakers did their experiment. Good for him, but we're not interested in him
There are
as a GM.
going to be teams that are looking for the fleece job, and they're going to be looking for him.
But is that more Pelinka or Nico?
I think Pelinka will get another chance.
I think he would.
I think.
Well, he won another chance.
Yeah, he will. He's young enough, and I think he also, as much as we're talking about, about him possibly being gone, he is competitive, and he's going to want to prove that I'm not in the position that I was in because of Kobe. I can make decisions outside of the perceived pressure of LeBron and Jeannie Buss. I'm going to go here and I'm going to build, my program or my team, the way he wants. And also, I think he does have a good rapport around the NBA because he's a former agent as well. So he knows a lot of the guys that are in decision-making positions, and they've done business together, right?
I think I personally think it's possible Ishbia may fleece him. I think he stays west. I don't think he goes east. But I think somebody like Ishbia
Phoenix or something like that, or he goes to an advisor role. Look, whether it's Jerry West or anybody else that's with the Lakers, once they get fired there, they just go right across the street to the Clippers. So that's an easy spot. Hey, I could come work for free. They're paying me.
Right.
Go over to the Clippers and steal some of they got Zubac for essentially a bag of cookies and a soda pop. So you might as well get Pelinka for a couple pieces of bubble gum.
But shoot, if you're Pelinka, there's probably more money in being an agent than a GM, right? I mean, some of these NBA contracts,
lot less stress,
different stresses.
Yeah. Now he needs the University of Michigan to start producing some players.
Hey,
because that's where it could be his little watering hole. But I'm sure he's going to land on his feet, man. And when you were the GM at the Los Angeles Lakers, no matter what you've done, as long as you haven't done something outside of the basketball court, you're going to get a job and you're going to get a ton of respect.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. This is a great way to transition into our next conversation. We'll bring up a couple players here, but NBA draft in a week. Stricky, Danny Wolf from Michigan, kind of a fringy first-round prospect according to a lot of mock drafts. Did you like what you saw from Danny Wolf? Do you think that he's an NBA caliber player?
I do. I think Danny Wolf has a skill set that I think the team, to me, Danny Wolf looks like an expanded version potentially of like Şengün to me. Good handle. I think Şengün's a little stronger on the inside. I think he still needs to get a little bit more physical. But his ability to shoot, he's got a great handle. He's gonna have to work on his quicker feet because he still doesn't have like quick twitch.
A little stiff.
Yeah, he's still a little tight. But other than that, I think he has a skill set that's translatable for an NBA game. I don't think I think he may hit a lottery. Maybe somewhere around 13, 12, depending on the team too.
Sure.
I don't think he goes beyond 16.
Okay. I like it.
I think he's a plug-and-play guy. He's a big physical guy. I think he's like a Tom Gugliotta. That's exactly where he's at. Tom Gugliotta was sneaky, athletic, straight line.
Okay.
Will bang on you if he can. But, good shooter. Tom Gugliotta expanded his range in the NBA to real NBA range versus college. Obviously not as tall as Tom Gugliotta. Maybe he's close to it. So I think when you get, in my opinion, when you get with the crop that's coming in, when you get towards the lower part of the lottery for the rest of the first round, I think safety picks come in.
Oh yeah.
I think the tricky part of the lottery,
rotation guy.
Yeah, the tricky part of the lottery is after like the top 6, maybe 8. Then you get in that 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe 12, then you might take a flyer on a guy. So I think if he sneaks up into the lottery or he's right there close to the lottery, I think it's a pretty safe pick.
Also in the state of Michigan, a guy that we didn't see in Lincoln, but we watched put a beating on Nebraska was Jace Richardson from Michigan State. Obviously some NBA pedigree in that family with his dad, Jason. Stricky, from what you've seen, you've heard about Jace Richardson. Do you like him declaring this year? Do you think he could have come back to college? What do you make of his decision?
I think he should have come back because the reason being he's probably going to end up being a two-way guy. The reason being is his height. He's not really a true point guard.
No.
Very athletic, high flyer,
shooter,
gets out. Team is going to matter. To me, he would remind me. He's a good shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he plays defense like him, but he reminds me of like Gary Payton, the third.
Second or the third.
The second.
Yeah, second. Yeah.
Yeah, the
mitten, not the glove.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like it. Maybe. I mean, another guy that fits that kind of script is Dennis Smith that went to NC State.
Yeah.
Went all over the place. Looked like he was going to be a superstar and kind of been out of the league that quick. And Strick's right. You know, look, if they tell you you're going to be a lottery, you got to go. But then you got to understand, just because you're a lottery pick doesn't mean that you're a lock to be a successful player, especially in this day and age of teams don't care about first-round picks or lottery picks. You'll be there on a team one year and you'll be gone the next. So I think when you are potentially a lottery pick, if he is, or if you're going to get picked in the first round or drafted at all, I think the harsh reality of those conversations probably he's going to have with his dad is like, all right, that's great. You know, you got some money in your pocket, but listen, now you're going to have to figure out how to be in the rotation and get through training camp and earn the trust of the veterans and coaches, because these are the deficiencies and big holes in your game that you got away with in college that can't translate. You can't take those to the NBA.
Yeah.
So
the crazy part of the game has been the shift. It's been very wing and heavy guard dominated, more wing dominated. Those 3-and-D guys are more sought after now than even the guards per se.
Yeah.
But definitely the big men, fall kind of towards the middle, bottom part, not like they used to. You go back in the day, it was Alonzo Mourning, it was Ewing,
Dikembe, all that. I mean, Othello Harrington was up in there. He didn't have no lift.
Right.
All those guys. I mean, so I think it's a copycat league, but I also think there's more wings out there. There's more wings. There's more 6'6" guys, 6'7", 6'8" out here being able to have skills, because that's what they're doing now. And and that's why the physicality of the game in the playoffs is so foreign to guys, because they out there play like they're trying to catch up to the European type of style of play with skillful out on the wing. Now they're more between the legs, over dribble, try to get down and jam session on you. But I think there's more wings out there. You got to look at like Ace Bailey, where
and
back.
We will certainly get into him next segment.
Right, and you're thinking normally, when you probably played, he'd be a back to the basket type of guy that has some athletic ability and maybe, a mid-range type of shooter. Now that dude ain't coming inside the 3-point line.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think we see I'm just going to throw it out here. There is an anomaly approaching. There is some form of a tsunami approaching. We haven't seen outside of, I think, the last Dookie Zion was probably the last anomaly that we've seen. I don't even think you can really say Ja, but what is the next anomaly? Because they're starting to kind of have some separation on the timing of when these like Penny Hardaway types, and, those are anomaly players to me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Who's next?
Man,
there's somebody in high school.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just going to throw one and say I think AJ DeBance is going to be the next anomaly.
If his mental game is right.
Yeah,
his
he's
mental
on a
game.
short list.
There's a kid
Derek Peterson at Kansas excites me. Tyron Stokes the next year, I really like.
Not this year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no.
Yeah, there's a kid.
Unless it's Cam Boozer.
I don't think maybe.
Cam Boozer.
I don't
Watch
think.
out,
I don't think Hooper is one.
I'm gonna find the kid. He's
Hater.
He's 7
Not
foot.
an anomaly. I think he's going to be a great player. I don't think he's an anomaly.
There's a kid 7'1", 265 pounds that's been flat out unstoppable, and he's in like 10th grade, but he has 3-point range. That's the dude.
Yeah.
Because of the physicality and the viciousness that he plays with and the skills on the outside, he's going to be the anomaly because it's not going to be the guy that eventually went to Georgia to play.
There it is. 10 bill. I told you. 10 bill.
I don't like that.
For Mark Walter.
Wow.
10 bill. I told you to watch out for it.
You know what that was? That's over expensive wine.
Hey.
But that's only just for a majority state.
Yeah, not the whole
That's
dang thing.
not the whole thing.
No.
Hey,
Lord have mercy.
That's like, hey, Jeannie busted. Hey,
I should have sat next to Ross Perot Jr.
Hey, Jeannie busted, man. He said 7. Yeah, call me back when you're serious. All right, 8-5.
Why'd you call?
Magic just said, man, just go to 10. You know you got it. You know what I'm saying? You know you got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like buying a round of drinks at golf or something. You know you got it. All right, well, who cares? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We care about staying on the clock. We're going to go to break. More Big Ten and the NBA draft talk next on the block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
RC's Boxing presents this Saturday at the Complex amateur fights with a little bare-knuckle bite. Some of Nebraska's best amateur boxing, along with a professional bare-knuckle bout between Jack Lawless Frericks and Jake Palmer, and a kickboxing bout between Demorio Dennis and Eric Murray Jr. Go get your tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com, where you can live stream this event as well. Doors open at 6 p.m. and first bout is at 7 p.m. this Saturday at the Complex at 1555 Yolanda Avenue. 4th of July weekend is coming soon, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble your grill so it can look and perform its best. Visit their website, huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes tickets to Michigan or USC, plus Akron or Houston Christian, and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up
But why?
because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Ella Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit allofiber.com to switch today.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Fuhrer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Fuhrer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
We're back during On the Block. Austin, Strick, and Jay with you. This segment of the show brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. They're based out of Hallam, Nebraska, and offer a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple-pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. They're based, like I said, in Hallam. They're locally and family-owned with their own team of installers. Give Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today for more info, 402-430-3852. We're talking NBA draft, some Big Ten prospects in there. We've spent some time already talking about Dylan Harper and about Ace Bailey, certainly. The next couple guys that you see pop up a lot in that kind of next tier of players in the Big Ten. Let's start with Kasparas Jakushonis. That's a guy who I think is a really interesting prospect, Lithuanian, part of that first wave of guys under Brad Underwood to come over from overseas. Stricky, Illinois put the ball in his hands down the stretch. Of course, Nebraska won that game in overtime. What did you like and not like about Jakushonis from Illinois?
I like his poise. I think he's a very heady player, good size for the position. He could run the point guard. He could shoot. He's very skilled, good vision. I really do like his potential. I love his strength in his body, though. His wingspan is not probably as good as you'd want it to be for that height. He reminds me of like Matt Maloney a little bit back in the day with Houston.
Who dat?
Yeah, you wouldn't remember who he was, but I do like it. I think he's got tremendous upside, but I will say I think team will matter for him.
Matt Maloney was number 52, wasn't he? Or 50?
Something like
that. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, first the stretch four. I think I liked him. The one thing I liked about him was his decision making for a young kid. You know, whereas the turnovers weren't as high. I mean, they put the ball in his hands, so it let you know the decision making in the Big Ten was obviously on par. But also, I think it's more of a potential pick too. You know, as far as look, he's young. What is he? 18, 19 years old. I think he's 19. And so you're banking on he's going to develop into a more prominent scorer. And so what is he? He's 6'8", right? He probably needs to get a little bit more, I guess, American type of strong, right? Get a little bit, thicker across his frame and be able to withstand 82 games, right? And that's the biggest adjustment for any rookie or coming into the league. But I think his skill set and his ability to stretch, and then obviously the ability to play at 3 levels, I think is probably appealing to a lot of teams.
I like Jack Jonas. I don't love him. I think ultimately he's a backup in the league, which is still fine, right? I think he's a second unit type of guy because I don't think there's much more he can put on that frame. I don't think he's going to get that much stronger. And I'm going to push back a little bit. The dude averaged 4 turnovers a game in the Big Ten. Now, more of that ticked up at the end of the year, right, when Illinois was sick, was injured.
And his partner in crime was out for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that Jack Jonas has a higher floor than, say, Will Riley does, his teammate that also entered the draft. But I think Will Riley could reach that Ace Bailey stratosphere in terms of scoring, shooting ability. So, again, I think team fit's going to matter for both those guys. But, Jay, we'll give you the first word on the big man from Maryland, Derek Queen. Do you see an NBA-style game out of that young man?
Man, I'm going to tell you what, man. You have a big you get talk about get it, have a run at hockey, for goalies. I mean, he played well. He did, and obviously we saw him on display at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Obviously, the
Nebraska
ultimate
saw him twice.
Right, but he was the equalizer. But I think you talk about going on a run, Big Ten through, and then when Maryland's starting to play well, I think he provides enough physicalness, and I think he has a ton of potential. I think he's quicker than you actually when you look at him because he's young, right? He's got
a great body,
right? A wax body, like Kendrick Perkins used to say about Carmelo Anthony and himself, right? You always got to, the big guys that aren't very lean. But I think he has the potential to lean up, and he's a lot quicker than what people give him initial credit for. And I think his expansion of the range is good too.
Yeah.
So I think the comparison, I would say, I think he has a better athletic build or athletic toolbox right now than say like a Al Horford. But I think that's where he could be. I think he's way more explosive than Al Horford is now, obviously, and then was. But I think being able to be that physical presence, can switch. He shows he can get out there and move a little bit. So that means you won't be like a Rudy Gobert, get killed in the pick and rolls. And I think eventually he has the range to, expand like how Al Horford can, be a stretch 4 or 5 or whatever. But I think the difference for him is that he can get downhill for a big guy. And if he gets matched up in a switch against like a Tyrese Halliburton or something, he's able to kind of bowl him over and be physical. So I like him in that way.
I think if he works on his body, I think I could see him kind of in an Aaron Gordon role, less athletic. But the role that Aaron Gordon's in now, I could probably see him in a future.
Okay.
If he takes care of himself and really, if he doesn't get down there and acts like Zion where they got to put stuff in his doggone contract, I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, I think he's not, obviously he's a young kid. He's not physically strong. I mean, he's not like strength wise, where he needs to be. And that's not a knock.
No.
Because he's 18 years old. It is a fact. But I think his frame and being, and they used to say this in the NFL, when you play like certain positions, you want to be more dense, right? That means you want to be like barrel chested and dense when you play line. That's what I think he is right now. And if Strick, like what Strick said, once he gets into a good weight program and he develops, I think in year 2, maybe you look at him like like Wendell Carter. I think when he came into the league a little bit, needed to lean up and stuff, and which allowed him to expand his game, be more quicker, develop quickness wise. And he's flourishing down in Orlando. So maybe that's a little bit more of a comparison, just body wise. And I think Wendell Carter had more, things to start out with, but also I think the quickness of Queen and the craftiness, I think gives Queen a little bit of advantage.
So I watched my fair share of Wendell Carter Jr., and I think that's interesting because Wendell Carter also played alongside another big man.
Yeah.
In Marvin Bagley III that year, just like Derek Queen played alongside Julian Reese.
Right.
Now, Queen was the headliner as opposed to Reese. I think that Wendell Carter had a bit better of a jump shot coming into the league. He showed a little bit at Duke. Free throw numbers were pretty solid. Queen was really inconsistent with it, right? Like you expect a young guy to be. I think Queen is already more athletic than Wendell Carter. I think he's faster. I think he's quicker. And, Wendell Carter was a great post passer. But Maryland cobbled together a top 25 offense with 2 non-shooting big men on the floor in the most important moments of the game between Queen and Reese. And so, no, I don't think that Queen ever gets to be a consistent stretch guy.
Right.
Maybe he just needs, like what you were talking about a lot, Strake, with Derek Walker, elbow type of jumper. But I do think if he gets a slower big man on him, he can hold his own on the perimeter and go to work a little bit, where maybe it's not spacing in the traditional sense where he's your stretch five, but he can operate out on the perimeter offensively and won't kill you necessarily defensively on an island.
You think he's a little bit like, I'm a big fan of when Derek Walker was at Nebraska, where he was kind of the point forward and be able to create off of that?
I don't know if he's that good in the NBA.
Right.
Maybe in 5 years.
In the matchup,
maybe.
get the matchup to where you kind of go small, and he's like the point center to give it a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Derek Walker was definitely crafty as far as in the pick and roll to be able to be that big and essentially be very, very efficient in the pick and roll. But that's something that Derek Queen should try to develop into, because it's a skill set that's not very common, but then also you could get paid for it. If you want a perfect example, he's not apples to apples. Draymond being a kind of a point power forward, and you're able to be defensively really, really good, and you're able to switch and pick and rolls. You get the right coach, you get a Mark Jackson that believes in you, and the next thing you know, Draymond Green is going to be in the Hall of Fame.
No kidding. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, Coastal Carolina one step closer to punching their ticket to the Walk of Fame, if you will. The Chanticleers win it 11-3 over Louisville. They're headed to their second Men's College World Series final. Of course, they won it about a decade ago, back in 2016. The win streak runs to 26 games for the Chants. We'll talk more about that. And Joey Chestnut makes his return to the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest. We'll talk about that a little bit more to wrap up On the Block in just a minute.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
RC's Boxing presents this Saturday at the Complex amateur fights with a little bare-knuckle bite. Some of Nebraska's best amateur boxing, along with a professional bare-knuckle bout between Jack Lawless Frericks and Jake Palmer, and a kickboxing bout between Demorio Dennis and Eric Murray Jr. Go get your tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com, where you can live stream this event as well. Doors open at 6 p.m. and first bout is at 7 p.m. this Saturday at the Complex at 1555 Yolanda Avenue.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Fuhrer's cheese spread. So he left at once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Fuhrer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up
But why?
because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Looking to upgrade your hay equipment this season? Landmark Implement has a lineup of pre-owned balers and windrowers ready to go to work. In the race against time, make sure your hay equipment is up to the task. When you buy used hay equipment from Landmark, you're backed by our extensive parts and service network, complete with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you in the field. Shop all used hay equipment online at landmarkimp.com. or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
One final segment here from Blur for On the Block. Final segment brought to you by Love Volleyball Omaha. Get your season tickets for the first time or renew them. LOVBOMA.com. Austin, Jay, and Strick are with you. Fellas, let's talk just for a moment about Coastal Carolina taking down the Louisville Cardinals. This is a powerhouse program. This isn't a cute Cinderella story, maybe like it was back in 2016. What we're looking at right now is essentially the Gonzaga of college baseball. New coach this year in Kevin Schnall. Congratulations to him. In his first year taking his team to Omaha and then to the, obviously, College World Series finals. But how long does it take for a team like a Gonzaga, like a Boise State, or even like a Coastal Carolina right now to go from that kind of cute underdog story to, yeah, they're legit. You know, you can't call them an underdog. You can't call them, you know, a mid-major anymore. Like, how does a program like a Gonzaga, a Boise, a Coastal make that jump to, yeah, we got to take him seriously as a big dog?
Ooh, I would say I'm thinking of Boise when they first ran the Statue of Liberty play, and then Johnson, proposed to his girlfriend. It was probably 2 years before that. So now we're at 3, and then they beat Oklahoma, I think, right? So then now you're at 5. I'd probably say anywhere 4 to 6 years. Now baseball's different, right? Because I think that you could be in the mix, get to the super regional, and then lose on like a blue play or something like that. So I think being in the mix in super regional finals, 4 to 6 years, maybe not I think getting to Omaha is harder 4 out of 6 years versus being a player in it. So I think for them, especially but right now they're already here. They're in the building. They are a problem for a lot of these major teams, and they're not going anywhere. They have great weather, so that doesn't hurt them, kind of like Boise. Their location is better than Boise and Gonzaga, I think, far as weather and all that, and the proximity to really good baseball and players out down there in South Carolina. We know that.
What city is Coastal located in?
It's in Myrtle Beach, isn't it?
It's outside of Myrtle Beach,
yeah.
Conway.
Yeah. but there's great baseball down there, and you have access up and down the coast, and so I think they're here.
Yeah, they're gonna get. They're well coached. Let me just say that. They're a well coached team. They're not gonna beat themselves in a lot of instances. They don't get flustered like sometimes small teams do. But what I liked about what I've seen in them is they really make good at bats. Like they will challenge pitchers. They're willing to hit opposite. They're not trying to be the hero, so they're not trying to mash. They're really about playing the game the right way, and that's what I like about them.
They enter the Men's College World Series Finals on a 26-game winning streak. 26 games dating back to the end of April. They have not yet lost in the postseason, whether you're looking at their conference tournament, regionals, super regionals, or here in Omaha as well. On the one hand, you're playing your best baseball at the right time. On the other hand, can they get two more? That's the important question. Either way, they will be facing an SEC juggernaut, whether it's LSU if the Tigers win tonight. Obviously, Arkansas will have to beat LSU 2 times in order to advance to the College World Series Finals. Some other news in the world of sports. Joey Chestnut, he's not an underdog, right? He's always been a favorite. Was not allowed in the hot dog eating contest last year. He partnered with a plant-based protein company, so Nathan said, nope, we don't want you. Get out of here, but it sounds like that is resolved. I mean, Joey Chestnut is like Michael Phelps level of dominance.
Yeah.
Is there an individual athlete that you think of in terms of dominance like Joey Chestnut? For me, he's far and away number one.
I look at this like Michael Jordan, who took the baseball year off, and now he's coming back.
Right. Yeah. It would have vengeance.
He's him. Right?
Yeah, it would have vengeance.
You know he's him already. But what's so amazing about it, man, is you think you see a big gordo, a big a big sumo guy.
He's
gonna take, and he's just this little old guy.
He's
looks
that
like you. He looks like you.
Yeah.
He comes in there and just starts mashing. And I don't know how he does it, but man, shout out to Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, he trained for it. And they've had a documentary on him and how he's kind of created that aura around him. And it's, he's made millions and millions of dollars of one of the nastiest things I've ever seen on, highlights on ESPN. But I think he brings excitement to it. I think it's along the 4th of July weekend, I think, right? And so it's kind of part of it. Now it's kind of become almost like a American tradition. Who wins it, and if he doesn't win it, then that guy gets, elevated. And there's been guys that looked the part that Joey's blew out. And then I think his biggest rivalry, what was his name? It was like Kobayashi or somebody like that.
Oh, yeah.
And both of them don't look like they can put down more than 2 hamburgers, but boy, they get those hot dogs and they got the routine down. So it'd be pretty interesting to see any adjustments that I guess he makes, in that year to be back the champion.
Couple things here on Twitter as it relates to the Lakers sale, as well as more comes out about that. Today I learned Mark Walter is a Creighton grad.
Wow.
Really?
Apparently. That's tweeted by John Walker, Omaha World Herald Creighton beat writer. So that is wildly unfortunate.
That goes to tell you
where that money come from.
Well, that goes to also tell you there's a lot of people that looked over Mr. Walter while he was at Creighton. You should have sat down with him at the lunch table and had a conversation.
Yeah.
Come down I-80.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So there's that. And then obviously the $10 billion is the sale price to the Walter group. Bill Simmons, big Celtics fan, obviously, big media personality, says a $10 billion Lakers valuation isn't surprising at all. In 2021, AEG sold 27% Lakers stake to Walter at $5 billion. 27% went for $5 billion. That was 4 years ago. Now they're getting 66% more of that number, or 66% more ownership at 2 times that number. The new media deal supercharged the new money. And here, how about this? Here's the next piece to keep in mind. The price for an expansion franchise in the NBA going to start at $6 billion.
Yeah.
The sale price for the Boston Celtics.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that lets you know right there. It's actually I guess it's never easy to write $1 billion check, but for him it's pretty easy, and it's something that probably just has his portfolio. I mean, look, you got baseball, You're part of in football, and you're getting iconic franchises.
Yeah.
I mean, the Commanders are, and obviously previously the Redskins and the Washington football team in between that is a blue blood. And so he knows how to operate blue, and he has a great group around him, and he already was ownership there. So now you can see why that he's thinking, all right, I'm invested already in the conversation have probably already been going. So I'm not going to let it get outside of, my stronghold. And then when you look at it, like you're going to start over, and I don't know where they would be, Seattle, and he's right in LA. So this is kind of an easy sell or easy cash option for him.
It's going to probably be Vegas or Seattle.
Right. So
or they're going to have to find somewhere out east. Or there's one extra, right?
Nashville comes up a lot.
Yeah.
But
he's in LA.
I would rather move the Grizzlies to Nashville than add a new Nashville franchise.
I agree.
But he's in LA, so this is an easy sell for him. It's almost
right
it's that convenience fee. Plus, you also look at the unknown fee of Seattle, Vegas. Even though they're appealing, LA is very appealing to him as well.
Where is another East Coast market that you think the NBA could add? I mean, I think Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi are probably out. Is there another place in Georgia you could put one? Probably not doing 2 Atlanta franchises. Miami and Orlando already taken.
Not Tallahassee. You don't go Jacksonville.
No.
You don't do that. So it's really not
You
many
got one in
places
Charlotte.
out east. There's really not many places out east to go.
So then out west, what's left? It's Seattle, Vegas. And then you're looking for Mexico City?
Could you do one in like St. Louis?
KC, maybe?
Kansas City?
I think you could do Kansas City.
Yeah, I think you could do Kansas City.
Yeah,
Okay.
you could.
I think it's out there. Let's go ahead and call it a show on that note. Certainly more to talk about on that front. Getting you set for the night game, LSU and Arkansas. Lots of purple and gold trickling into the Blur Events tailgate. Don't forget, you can be a part of things here. Get your tickets online, blurevents.com/Omaha. We will be here for another hour for Old School. The party will keep rolling at Blur through the 21st. They're being open on Saturday to kick off the championship series. So you're running out of time to get down here. If you've been, come back. If you haven't been, make sure you get here. For Jay, for Strick, I'm Austin. Got Old School with Formula Norman after this.